Hey, in today's video, I will show you how to get data from Siemens PLC using OPC UA. We use PLC Sim Advanced to run S7-1500 PLC and saved our OPC UA collected data as Excel file using Node-RED. The original OPC standard, released in 1996 by the OPC Foundation, was designed for interoperability between industrial automation devices and software. It was called OPC Classic. It was based on Microsoft COM/DCOM technology, which tied it to Windows and had limitations for security, scalability, and internet use. Around 2003, the OPC Foundation recognized the need for a platform-independent, secure, and scalable successor to OPC Classic. They began developing OPC UA, and new OPC was no longer tied to Windows. It could run on any OS or device. The first official OPC UA specification was released in 2008. OPC UA's security model, encryption, authentication, and auditing, and information modeling features gained traction in manufacturing, energy, and process industries. Major automation vendors, Siemens, Rockwell, ABB, etc., began integrating OPC UA into controllers and software. OPC UA became a key communication standard in Industry 4.0. OPC UA works through a client-server communication or publish-subscribe pub/sub model. We use UA Expert Client to test out OPC data. Next step is to use Node-RED OPC Client to read that data. We will save our data into Excel file. First step is to create PLC and enable OPC UA server. In our PLC, we have data block db_data. We will access two temperatures values from OPC UA client. Simple code will create temperatures rising or falling with every PLC scan time. We need to enable OPC UA server first, before data can be read by OPC UA client. In PLC Properties, go to OPC UA, menu and tick activation of OPC server. You then get warning about possible security issues, which can happen when you do not use secure connection. We need to activate license for OPC UA. Licenses are divided between sizes depending of PLC you use. Here you can see S7-1500 licenses types for different models. In OPC UA Properties, you can find your server address. Take a note of it as we will need it to set up client. Let's start our PLCSIM Advanced, which allows us to run PLC functions very close to real hardware, and it supports OPC UA server. Another advantage of PLCSIM Advanced is Virtual Switch, which allows me to run virtual PLC together with other client on single laptop. Let's download our code to PLC. PLC is now running. We can check if our values for temperature are changing. It works. Next step is to test our server with OPC UA client. For this purpose, we use free UA Expert software. We will add now our PLC server address. We will not use secure connection and access it using anonymous user. I will still configure security policy because I often use secure user connection, which I will show in future videos. I will give a name to our connection and save the config. In address space, we can see our PLC, and we will now try to find data block. db_data is not here, and I will show you why. Data blocks have tick boxes. Using them, you can enable individual memory to be accessible by OPC client or HMI. We will now enable access and download code to PLC. Back to OPC client. We need to refresh address view. Our DB is now available. We can drag and drop values to view window to monitor them. It works fine. In Attributes window, we can see information about each tag, for example, node number. We will need that to set up our Node-RED client. Let's move to Node-RED. I have all nodes prepared for OPC UA client. If you want to install all required palettes, pause video now. First step is to add our OPC UA client to the flow. I have my saved server here, but if you want to add new one, click on Edit and enter it as endpoint. Set same security as we did in UA Expert Client. We do not need to change any other settings here. Now we will add our tags from PLC. Item name, it is the exact name we could see in UE Expert Client. That is node number 3, and DB data tag name. You can see it here. Select our data type. It is called real in Siemens PLC, but in high-level programming, we usually refer to it as float value. Then we can give it any name we want. Let's see what we get. We will use debug node to display our results. It doesn't work even though OPC client is connected to PLC. Why? Let's set a trigger to manually request data from OPC UA server. We do not need any of those parameters. It was simple mistake. To get correct data, we need to connect our flow to first output of our OPC node. And now we are getting our temperature data. Let's add second tag. We have both temperatures data from PLC. Let's move to next step. First, we need function to split our messages between tags. Then we will add second function to organize data for our CSV save function. And last node we need is to save our data to the file. We need to give it a path where we want to store our data. We can test our solution. We will trigger now node read function and check what we get. New data.csv file has been created. Try to trigger it few more times to get more reading. Let's open our file. Here we are. We get all our data saved on our local PC using OPC UA on Siemens PLC. Simple but powerful. Subscribe and click like. Thanks.